Okay, I wanted to make another CSGO video just to explain more movement tricks and other cool mechanics with the game. Um, Also, I should mention last time I said that every time you are scoped in with any weapon, that it reduces your movement speed. This is actually not the case with the Scout. You can see that when I'm moving, I always have a 230 velocity, whether I'm scoped in or not. Um, So that can make scout peeks really fast. This gun just actually feels really nice to use because of this. Um, Another important feature about the scout, since I already have it, I should mention jumping accuracy. So jumping accuracy, as you know, is really, really bad. Um, you can usually not hit where you want to go except for that bullet. Except you can see one thing, the scope clears up when I'm at the height of my jump. That's right. The Scout actually has a fairly accurate shot, you can see right there, when you hit the height of your jump. And I'm bad at timing it, but trust me, it is decently accurate. It's more like that or that first one. But overall, not the most useful thing unless you want to jump peek a box over and over or something. Like, say you want to peek someone that's on this roof, instead of backing up, you want to jump and you want to just jump peek that. So that's something important to note, that the accuracy of your shot is actually also dependent on your scope's clarity. That's much easier. You can see that you can see that when I'm standing still and aiming, it blurs when I'm moving. You can see that it's not going to be as accurate. I didn't even hit that wall. I like hit somewhere over there or something. So if you're like doing something with a sniper rifle, that's a good way to tell if you're doing something correctly. So moving on to the op has much worse jumping accuracy. You can see it like barely even clears up at all. The op has much less forgivement when it comes to moving. Another thing about the op, let's check out that inaccuracy when you first scope in. So I did actually scope in there. You can see it instantly rescopes, so choose that. And I didn't even shoot next to my scope outline. That time it did, but that's just kind of lucky. Alright, and then that time it didn't. That time it didn't. This is actually about the same amount of accuracy you get while no-scoping. You can see that no-scope was actually dead on. So instantly scoping in and shooting is actually just about as accurate as a no-scope. I should mention this because when I'm opping, you will see me no-scoping a lot of people at like close range. And the scope, you can see like if I wait like half a second, it does like become very, very accurate again. But overall, sometimes it's just better to just use it as a shotgun. The no-scoping accuracy is pretty accurate. I know that this isn't a movement, I know that this accuracy thing isn't like a movement thing, but I just wanted to document like more notes on Counter-Strike. So, tying in movement into accuracy. So I said last time that jump crouching gets you a little bit of extra height. So sometimes you don't want to jump height. You just don't want to jump crouch. This would be a perfect example of not wanting to jump crouch. You can actually land perfectly on this box if you just do a regular jump. And something important for that would be if you want to like peek this door, and you can pretty much instantly get an accurate shot if you like scoped in, jump on this box, and just want to fire. So that's like something you can do. You can, if you pretty much instantly land on something, because the way inaccuracy is measured is your velocity and not time since you most recently moved. If you do something like this spot, for example, I can get a very accurate shot very quickly. So say I want to do this and then just duck back. And you'll see a lot of spots like this, like on Mirage, for example. If you're holding CT, people will often jump on that box and just duck back. You can get a very quick peek like that, probably faster than just a shoulder peek where you would have to cancel your momentum. Well, maybe not faster than a shoulder peek, but just like an alternate shot where you could go like and just back. I think that this movement option is just a very important option that you have when you're using the sniper rifles. And I guess it can also help with normal rifles as it makes you more accurate. So one thing that I forgot to mention with bunny hopping, which is one of the reasons I picked Nuked here, is because bunny hopping actually matters about what surface you're on. So for example, if I'm bunny hopping and I'm doing it right, I'm not hitting any key, but I'm moving down this ramp, and this is independent of the way I'm looking. I'm looking down just to help me time the hop, because you can see I'm very bad at hitting it when I'm not looking down. And part of this is my frame rate. I'm not very good at hitting bunny hops, but you can see I'm slowly moving down the ramp. That's right. Bunny hopping is also dependent on the surface that you're sitting on. And briefly to go into more detail on that, if you're hopping on a moving surface, or if you're jumping at all on a moving surface, which the only moving surface in the game would actually be your teammates, then you can get a very large speed boost if you're moving in the same direction as them. And that's called run boosting. You'll actually see it a lot. It helps pros get a very fast peek. Say if they wanted someone behind that red box but they didn't have outside control, you could just run boost over there. Someone just jumps off and lands right behind it. This is a very bad example. If you run boost, no one would ever do that. This area is very exposed, and once someone gets behind here, they're just going to die. But there are actual times when you would want to run boost in game. Run boosting can contribute to some strats. It's a very cool alternate peak idea that you can mess around with. Another thing I should mention, this isn't really advanced or anything, but you can't crouch spam. They actually just removed this a while ago. You can see I'm actually just getting slower and slower as I crouch until I reach this snail pace. This was to prevent people just crouch spamming behind surfaces. It was a really frustrating mechanic to deal with. You can imagine why games would not want crouch spamming, of course. It's just terrible. This is unfortunately not tied to stamina. Stamina is only unfortunately tied to jumping. So there's no actual way to view this from the console commands I know of. But you can see I just lose this jump. I just lose this crouch spam beater. So that covers a good few things. And I should also mention some more grenade tips. So last on the chopping block, I do want to talk about grenades, how they interact. So of course, if you've been playing Counter-Strike, you know that left click, you can throw a grenade the farthest. If you right click, it just kind of rolls up to you. And I should probably turn on God mode while I'm testing this. And then I should also mention that a lot of players don't know if you mix up the two, if you hold left and right and release it, it does a very medium toss. This medium toss can be kind of, it can be used in a very cool number of ways. You can see right there, it landed right on the other side of this box. You can, so this just gives you more options of how you can throw grenades. Another very, very important note with grenades is it's based off of your own momentum. So you can see that since I jumped there, I get a lot more oomph from my grenade than I would if I just normally tried to throw it up there. That's not just because I was jumping that I get that extra distance. The grenade actually does go further up because I'm jumping. You can see it went way further up to like right here. So this matters a lot if you're grenading outside. it actually bumped off that roof, but say it's not just about jumping. If you're running at all, you can see that this grenade traveled a short distance because I was running backwards as I threw it. But this, if I'm running forward while I'm doing it, I can get a very, very far throwing nade. And if I combine a forward movement and a jump, it just goes sailing. So this is very important when you're lining up grenade spots. Say you're throwing a smoke, someone says jump throw. It's very important that you do jump throw. So that's pretty much just grenade basics. Just a very lesser known thing though about grenades, and this is lesser known thing but extremely important to the game. You can actually quick switch while throwing grenades. So right there, I pressed 1 right after throwing my grenade, which of course is the button that I have bound to switching to my op, 3 to knife, 2 to pistol. And what that would look like if I didn't do that would be a very sluggish action. It's just a lot faster to instantly hit 1. You don't have that animation of me moving my hand all the way down as I throw my nade, which is a pretty fast animation, but if you can save time switching to your weapon, you definitely know how important that can be. It's just a lesser known thing. Another thing with reloading, the reload is finished as soon as you see the bullet number change. So in my pistol there, I had 12 bullets, or as soon as I saw the 12 bullets popped up, I instantly switched to my op. I knew that my pistol was reloaded. Unfortunately, this does not mean that you can switch. This does not mean that you can switch off your pistol and then back on it to save on reload time. Because the animation for pulling out your pistol or any weapon is long enough where it actually compensates for that time. But if I did want to reload my pistol, say I'm not using my pistol again for a second, I just want to switch back to my op, I know that I did reload my pistol now because I saw it switch to 12. So the last thing, and this is just kind of a cool bonus, you probably won't be doing this in games or anything, you can move guns with grenades. And, you know, that looks like this. You know, I can just shove that into the corner. I bring this up because there is a really famous clip of Shroud doing this on Mirage to save an op, because the clock was running down on him. And more recently in a CS Major, or at least a Pro League match, a player was, and this is the other reason I picked Nuke, a player was in secret, and he was trying to save. There was a player in that garage, and he saw an op over here. So he threw a grenade like this. It sailed over to him perfectly because he's better than me. Unfortunately, my op landed out of the map, but he was able to save the op and retreat. So it's something to think about. You know, you'll usually never use it, but it's just something to think about. Last on the block, I want to talk about, there are ice physics and water physics in CSGO. There's like a swimming mechanic and different ice physics for the game, and they're very interesting, but unfortunately there are no competitive maps that you can utilize these physics, even though there is water, of course, on Overpass. Even on just like competitive maps like Anubis, there's water. There's a lot of water, but you can't swim in it, which just kind of makes it a don't take damage if you fall kind of zone. It doesn't really make it actual water. So that's pretty much it in terms of everything that's important to know. So I do want to mention that you can put everything you have learned so far into not taking damage while landing right here. So what I'm going to attempt to do, and this might be messed up because I've only got 34 frames while recording this, I'm going to try to air strafe towards this and then surf off of it because this is technically a slope, cancel my momentum by looking up with the surf, and then take 0 fall damage by utilizing all that. And that looks something like this. And yes, I did not... Oh, no, I have God mode on. I thought I did that successfully the first time. Yeah, so that looks something like that. I think, unfortunately, I did mess it up. I did only take 4 damage, but that is more than 0. And you can see that I took 5 just by landing on that roof. So I did it somewhat successfully when I did land on this, but not as successfully as it could be. I took 3 that time. And of course, if you do just jump off this normally, you'll take a buttload of damage. Yeah, just just a ridiculous amount if you don't land on that thing at all. So that's just some nice movement to know. You can get to the ground a lot faster from Marshmallow. There's just a lot of stuff like that in the game, and the better you are at it, just the better time you're gonna have. That's about it. Thanks for watching. It was nice to make another video. I like going over some more mechanics in CS. There's just a lot to go over. And hopefully this one was a little bit, has some cooler tricks than the last one. So thanks for watching. Bye.